What do you make of the extreme elements kind of latch onto the truck convoy you supported?
Well, you know what I think is interesting is that when there's a left-wing protest on Parliament Hill, we don't see the Liberal media going through every single name of the people who attends to try and find one person that they can disparage the whole group with. You know, we don't see CBC, for example, has been accused by its own employees of systemic racism, and yet we don't see the media here generalize that everyone who works at the CBC is a racist. Whenever you have 5,000 or 10,000 people who are part of any group, you're bound to have a number who have or say unacceptable things. And they should be individually responsible for the things they say and do. But that doesn't mean we disparage the thousands of hard-working, law-abiding, and peaceful truckers who, quite frankly, have kept all of you alive the last 2 years by filling your grocery shelves with the food that you eat and filling your homes with the products that you rely upon. So I think that it is possible to hold individually responsible anyone who says or does anything unacceptable, while showing support for the hardworking, law-abiding, peace-loving truckers who are fighting for their freedom and their livelihoods, and on whom we have depended for our very existence over the last 2 years.
Est-ce que ça vous dérange justement que ces gens-là, ces extrémistes-là, se rallient un peu à la cause qui est noble selon vous?
Pardon?
Ça vous dérange-tu que ces gens-là, ces extrémistes-là, se rallient un peu à cette cause-là que vous jugez noble?
Mais je vous donne un exemple. Vous autres dans les médias m'ont critiqué férocement quand j'avais un projet de loi pour changer la loi électorale. Et pendant la controverse, j'ai reçu des menaces à ma vie, qui étaient livrées à ma maison. Alors, est-ce qu'on peut dire que chaque personne qui m'a critiqué est responsable pour ces menaces? Non, la personne qui m'a menacé est responsable. Parce qu'on a dans notre société la responsabilité individuelle. Et chaque personne qui dit quelque chose ou qui fait quelque chose inacceptable est individuellement responsable. Mais ça ne veut pas dire que tous les camionneurs qui veulent simplement travailler, qui se battent pour le droit de travailler et d'avoir la liberté personnelle, devraient être nuits par les actions d'un petit groupe qui, dans plusieurs cas, n'ont rien à voir avec les camionneurs.
Will you be there Saturday?
I'll be supporting the truckers.
How will you support them?
I don't know exactly where, because I don't know exactly how this whole thing is going to be organized. I'm not in touch with any of the organizers, but I'm going to look for an opportunity to bring coffee and support and friendship for peaceful, law-abiding, hard-working, freedom-loving truckers who have kept my family and yours alive throughout this pandemic by putting food on our table. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just encourage the media not to forget about British Columbia. We still got a lot going on with the flooding.
Right.
We got to make sure we get the dike infrastructure, support for farmers. There is so much happening in my province, and we got to keep our focus on that.
Definitely.
You guys have a great day, and I wish you a wonderful
Just on the meeting
evening.
today, do you think this settles questions about Mr. O'Toole's leadership?
Well, the meeting's still going on, and things are looking good, and we got a lot of work to do. We have barely had any parliament in 6 months. We got to get focused on the things that Canadians care about. Right, like, we got to talk about inflation, the cost of housing. Man, like, my assessment in my neighborhood in Abbotsford went up 46%. How does a young graduate afford a house today? How does someone that makes a six-figure income afford a house today? Right. The Canadian dream is being taken away by a lot of young people. And if Parliament's not focused on that, I think we're going to be debating C8 next week. That's what all Canadians want us to be talking about. How the government spending, a third of which outlined by the Parliamentary Budget Officer, has nothing to do with COVID? What's the impact on our long-term finances and the well-being of Canadians who are going to be left to pay that debt in the future? Those are the questions that need to be answered right now, and that's what the Conservative Party's focusing on.
And obviously, top of mind, the protest this weekend. Any thoughts on that, sir?
I will say one thing about the protesters.
Sure.
You know, Canadians don't know where to turn right now. And I think the Ottawa media, the establishment media, has been looking for controversies with some of these truckers. They're trying to find all the bad things that someone might have said on social media. But you know what? There's a lot of people that are coming to Ottawa who don't know what else to do.
Right.
Because their lives have been impacted just as much as mine and yours the last 2 years. And they're trying to find a constructive way to let people know, hey, I'm not okay with what's happening. I'm not okay with everything the government's doing. And you know what? If they want to drive across the country, I think that's actually a really healthy way to demonstrate what you feel about something, and that should be encouraged.
Absolutely, but are you concerned in any way about more extremist elements who are attempting to hijack that legitimate protest? Is that not cause for any concern?
Well, you know what? That's something that is a part of any protest movement.
But we don't normally get death threats, sir.
Well, I can tell you, I didn't normally get death threats until I became a member of Parliament.
Right. But is that normal? Does that constitute normal today? Is that acceptable in your view?
You know what? That's a good question. What constitutes normal today? All I can say is that the large majority of people coming here are trying to find a constructive way to let their voices be heard, and we need to focus on that. And I trust all of our public authorities here in Ottawa are going to take all the necessary precautions to make sure that it's peaceful. And I know the organizers want to have a peaceful protest too. Thank you, guys.
Are you satisfied with what you heard today?
We had a good meeting.
Yeah. Do you think this settles the question surrounding Mr. O'Toole's leadership?
Yeah, like there's lots of discussion, and we have a good meeting. I have to leave a little early. It's still going on, but
do you think this is enough to settle kind of the internal challenges that he's facing?
You know what? We've got a good, strong caucus. We've been through challenges before. We're going to get through this.
What do you plan to do?